What's going on, everybody? How we all doing, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you here. And let me just say that I'm excited about this video, even though it's going to be short and to the point. But I don't know. I just thought I would jump on here before the Habs and Leafs get at it in the preseason. And these preseason games cannot come to an end any sooner, can they? But we got other news. We actually have other news to talk about. And that's why I'm going to mention it right off the top here. So the McTavish rumors can finally stop. There was nothing to them ever anyway for the Canadiens other than the fact that maybe they kicked tires, maybe they checked in on Mason McTavish. Well, it doesn't matter anymore because he's been signed by the Anaheim Ducks to a 6-year extension, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk also about our boy Alexander Zharovsky making his KHL debut, and he lit it up in his KHL debut. Let's just say that he got a goal and assist. I mean, you can see it right here. And then we're also going to quickly go through the lineup for tonight's preseason game. Why are we going to do that? Why are we going to bother with a preseason? Really, like, if you're here, you're interested enough to be here, so I appreciate that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about all this stuff, and let's lead with Mr. Mason McTavish signing a 6-year extension. Finally, the saga is over, if you will. But really, it came down to McTavish's agent wanted to go for a bridge deal and make it shorter term for Mason McTavish to sign. And the Anaheim Ducks absolutely want to keep Mason McTavish for longer. So they were pushing for a longer deal, and they were able to pull it off in terms of getting right above, where Mason McTavish maybe would have liked to have been signed by his agent. They kind of came in the middle. They got to the middle here. They met in the middle, if you will. And the 6-year deal is worth $7 million AAV, average annual value, for the next 6 seasons. Could that contract still be traded? Absolutely, it could. But the point is that the Anaheim Ducks are pretty set. They want to make the playoffs this season with the signings of Kreider and Mikael Backlund also in the offseason. This team, they're trying to retool on the fly here and also have core pieces like McTavish, like William Karlsson. There's players on this team that are going to help build this thing quickly and hopefully return to the playoffs as soon as this season. That's the Anaheim Ducks' goal, is to make the playoffs this season. It's clear, and I'm glad they got this done because McTavish has been practicing with the Ottawa 67s in the OHL and now can finally join his team with a deal in place. And who knows what the future holds, but Anaheim, I like what they're doing. I think a lot of fans do, like a lot of fans like with the San Jose Sharks rebuild. They're doing a nice thing here. They're doing a decent thing. This is going to be McTavish's 5th season in the NHL, just his 5th season. He was selected 3rd overall in the 2021 NHL entry draft. Do I have that right? Was it 21? Let me just confirm it here. I do believe it was 21. Yes, it was. It was 21. So there you have it with Mason McTavish. Let's jump right into Zarovsky. So Alexander Zharovsky makes his KHL debut today. He gets a goal and an assist, and I watched both highlights. I didn't watch the entire game with him playing. No, I didn't. So we're not going to get crazy overhyped, but it's news, right? It still matters to see our boy here, who this is what we expect out of this player, is to have the Canadiens expect him to have top 6 potential in the next 2-3 seasons. He'll be in the KHL for the next 2 seasons because he's signed. But whenever he makes his way over to North America, I would say in about 2.5, 3 years time-ish or so. And we want this guy to have potential, top 6 potential for the Canadiens, right? He's going to be a producer offensively. He's got sweet hands, and we saw that today in the game in his KHL debut. So congrats to him to start his career off nicely in the KHL this way. And certainly for Habs fans, we want to see him in a few years where the Canadiens are entering their contender window. That'd be a great time to add another top 6 offensive skilled forward in Alexander Zharovsky, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Ivan Demidov's childhood buddy here. All right, so let's get into the Habs and Leafs lineup for tonight. And actually, we're going to start with the Toronto Maple Leafs because I think we should, because we want to save the best for last. And actually, the lineup for the Leafs and Habs tonight, I was interested enough to talk about it based on who's in it. So that's why we're going to do this here. We're going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup first. And so we'll do that right here and right now. And as you can see right off the top, Max Domi, Cal Yarncroke, Dakota Joshua, Matthew Nyes, Matthias Michelli, William Nylander, Michael Pezzetta, the Pez dispenser. He's now an enemy. He's an enemy. Nothing we can do about it. And Jacob Quillen, Nicholas Robertson, Nicholas Waugh, newly acquired Nicholas Waugh in the Mitch Marner sweepstakes, which clearly the Leafs won that trade. John Tavares, Boria Vallis, and then we're gonna go right to the defense. So Matt Benning, Brandon Carlo, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Jake McCabe, Morgan Riley, and Chris Tanev. So the Canadiens young players tonight, especially the forwards, got to be ready to get hit, because there's going to be some physical players on the defensive end, namely with Chris Tanev, Morgan Riley, Jake McCabe, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. These are all veteran defensemen. There's 4 of them here for the Leafs, and I imagine that Benning and Carlo are jawing for roster spots on this Leafs lineup. But no Austin Matthews, notably, again in this lineup. But you got Nylander and Tavares in there, so you got 2 of their best forwards in the lineup. You got the rest of them, right? We don't care that much. No, it's good. It's decent competition tonight for the Canadiens. So it's not going to be the AHL's Toronto Marlies like they schooled us the other night with a lot of our top guys in, which is embarrassing for some folks. And I understand that. I do completely understand that. But let's talk about the Canadiens lineup, shall we? Already then. Let's do that. That's fun. That's fun for me. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Canadiens lineup, and nope, that's still the Leafs lineup. We don't want that. So I'm going to try to actually make this happen. Why is it in here twice? Why is it? Okay, so I think we're good, and we're going to talk about the Canadiens lineup. So let's do that, shall we? Okay, so we don't know. I think that based on the Canadiens website, this is what they released, is that this is their likely lineup, starting with Alex Newhook at center, Bolduc and Kapanen on the wing. Is Kapanen actually going to be at center? I would like to think so, but maybe he'll switch out with Newhook for faceoffs here and there. Joe Veleno with Owen Beck on his right and Sammy Blais on his left. That could very well be the 4th line for the Canadiens this season. I firmly believe that that's a sincere possibility. I like Owen Beck in this training camp. This is as closest as he's going to get to making the Canadiens of any of the training camps he's had with us. And I think that the Laval could really use Owen Beck, but I think for me, it's Beck over Kapanen. They tried Kapanen last year. Maybe Kapanen's a bit more ready this year. I think Beck is really knocking on the door here for the Canadiens lineup. That's what I personally believe. They're going to get a good look at him. They've already got a good look at him this season. And I think that as a centerman, Joe Veleno and Owen Beck swapping out at center, maybe Veleno on the wing and Sammy Blais on the other wing. I kind of like it. Alex Belzile, Tyler Thorpe, and Sean Farrell. This is like a lineup from Laval, a line right from Laval. These guys are all going to be on Laval to start the season, and as is this next line of Lucas Condado, Riley Kidney, and Alec. Is it Dauphin? Dauphin? It says Dolphin. Of course, the translation is awesome from the Canadiens website here. Arbor Xhekaj and Alex Carrier likely going to play together this season for a good chunk of it. Struble and Hudson have played together before, as we know. Delgaizo and Engstrom. Adam Engstrom is not expected to make the Canadiens out of training camp here, but he's a guy that we're keeping an eye on for the future of the Canadiens. And in net tonight, Kaapo Kähkönen and Jacob Fowler. Kähkönen will get the start in goal for the Canadiens, and I imagine Jacob Fowler will get some playing time in this game as well. So what do you think of this lineup tonight, guys? I want to know your thoughts on this lineup. And actually, we'll talk about this game after the game. We're going to do another video here together. But I just want to get your thoughts. I'm excited to see if Owen Beck can make the Canadiens. He's one of the biggest storylines for me. I expect Joe Veleno to have a good chance to make the Canadiens, but I think it'd be interesting to see these guys on a 4th line. I think it could make sense. It could make a lot of sense. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Leave a comment down below. Go Habs, go. We'll see you guys post-game tonight after the Habs and Leafs. See you guys soon. God bless you. Ciao.